everyone, this is Archive of 12, and today we have a new Jonathan Young song. This is his Warhammer 40K Necron song, Soulless Shells. Now, while I don't know a lot about Warhammer 40K, I will say that of the entirety of what I do know about it, the Necrons and the Tau have always been the two factions that I've been most fascinated by. Mainly just because they're machines, and I like the idea of machines. I like the idea that the Necrons are basically necromancer, technomancer hybrids that essentially turn dead things into robots. I don't know, something about that really fascinates me. The Tau fascinate me just because of all the Warhammer 40K factions, they're like the closest thing to good, and also they're basically just Warhammer Gundams. But good is a relative term in Warhammer because everybody sucks, everybody's bad, every single different faction is meant to be portrayed as a bad guy, and the fact that there is one that's even close to being the closest thing to good, and even then it's only if you're like first class citizens. If you're actually like Tau, then things are good for you. And if you're not, you're basically slaves. Like, it's, I don't know, the dynamic between those two different factions and the individuals inside their factions is very fascinating. Also, if you play Magic the Gathering, apparently Necrons work really well in a Megatron deck. So if you have a Megatron deck and you haven't considered using Necrons in it, might take a look at some of those cards, because I think they will actually work very well for you, since they're all artifact creatures. Anyway, getting back to the music, I am super stoked to hear what Jonathan's pulled out for us today. So we're going to get into this just in a second. Link will be in the description below if you want to watch this without my commentary, because we'll be pausing. I will be talking about it. Also down below is a link to my Patreon, where a new episode of something, I'm not sure what it is yet, will be going up this weekend. That is my guarantee. I know that I haven't posted as much on my Patreon as I'd been wanting to. Things have been kind of busy, but I will be posting more stuff very, very soon. But yeah, something new is going to be coming up there. So check that out if you want longer form reaction videos, similar to what I did with Gaslight District. So yeah, and without further ado, let's get started. So, for Warhammer fans that also know Star Trek, are the Necrons the closest thing that you can get to, like, the Borg? Because, from my understanding, that's basically what the Necrons are. They're essentially, like, they harvest the souls and living energy of individuals, and they stick them into mechanical shells. And that seems very much like the closest thing you can get to the Borg in this, outside of some of the stuff like the servitors that the actual Imperium of Man create, you know, the ones that are technologically grafted with like loader arms and stuff like that. Like, I guess technically, the Imperium of Man have more Borg-like things, but in terms of like the general concept of the entire faction, is the Borg a proper analogy for what the Necrons are in terms of Warhammer 40K, since the Imperium of Man already do like the cybernetic genetic splicing? Having another faction that does that seems a little redundant. So would the Necrons be like the closest thing to it, like the Borg adjacent for Warhammer 40K? Or is there something else? Because I would genuinely like to know, because they really, between the green glow and all the tech, and the fact that they're tied directly to like living things, the Necrons remind me the most of potential Borg analogies. Servants of the Star Guides, once Okay, the thing I like the most about this right now is that, like, Jonathan was very calm with his singing throughout the majority of that first verse. And he only really got into, like, the grungy, heavy metal, like, screamo aspect of the song at the end of the chorus. I really appreciate that. I'm going to say right now that while in terms of, like, the heroic, valiant, patriotic themes of the various human factions that he's done, such as the Space Wolves and the Salamanders and the Death Corps of Krieg, like, I enjoy those songs a lot. In fact, Death Corps of Krieg is probably like an earworm for me. I don't know why. My favorite is still the Salamander song, the Dragon Warriors, followed by Death Corps of Krieg for the human side. But there's something special about what he does with the villains, with the non-human side. Of all of them, the Lord of Plague, what's it called? Blood for the Blood God, and I know he's done one more. I can't remember what it is right now, but like all of the villain songs that he's done for Warhammer have had something special about them. Like they're more unique because they're not as patriotic. Oh, Tyranids, that was the other one. I know he did the orcs as well, but you know that's basically just an instrumental with WOG tied into it. Like for the three that he actually has lyrics for leading up to the Necrons, they have had something special about them because of the fact that they are they're not patriotic. They are designed to be foreboding and like soul crushing and like opportunistic and villainous. And I really like what he does with those. I think that I enjoy those actually a little bit more than the patriotic songs for the most part. They may not get stuck in my head as easily, but like I think I enjoy those more, specifically because of the fact that it's all good that you're singing about humanity, you're singing about like patriotism and stuff like that. I know that Warhammer 40K is very deeply rooted in fascism, so like it's fine that you're singing about that in the perspective of Warhammer 40K. But there's something about the villains. There's something about the evil guys that Jonathan really brings forth something like special. And this song is no different. There's something about this. It just vibes so well with the overall general like feeling of this. And the only thing I can think of, the only thing I can truly muster any kind of words for is that, like the Tyranids, this feels like it's being sung from the perspective of the Imperium of Man looking at the Necrons, but they're doing a really bad job of making them making them like feel like there's something that you should be feared. They feel more like it's almost like in awe. You know what I mean? Like, I like how Jonathan is making these guys, he's giving them their own song and he's making them feel like there's something awe-inspiring. And to me, I think that's almost more important than making them feel like they should be villainized, because it makes them feel special. It gives them their own version of a sort of a patriotic march. It just happens to be themed in a way that's supposed to be more of watch out for these guys because they're this badass. Okay, before we get back into this chorus, I have one thing to ask. There's a lot of like cinematic stuff going on here. Can people identify for me what games these came from? Like, legitimately, I would love to know what games this like series of cinematics came from, because I just finished Space Marine 1. I'm restarting Space Marine 2. For those who saw my live stream several months ago, I started Space Marine 2. I decided to stop playing it, finished Space Marine 1. I've restarted it. I'm going through Space Marine 2 now on my own, because I don't know when I'm gonna have time to stream again. I want to play other Warhammer games. Rogue Trader's on my list of games, and preferably I'd like to do like big battle cinematic ones similar to what they have with Total War, but I don't want to play Total War because that's more fantasy based. I would the Warhammer game for that is fantasy based, not sci-fi based. So if anybody could tell me what games these cinematics came from, especially if they happen to be cinematics from like real-time strategy style games, please let me know, because I am curious. Ooh, I like the fact that he didn't go into the screamo vocals at the end of this second one. That makes it feel so much more personal and so much more different. I like that a lot. He could have easily just redone that again, but it changes the tone of that chorus. I really enjoyed that. The grunge. I really hope that he does the Tau. I would love to hear Jonathan's take on the Tau. I'm not even going to joke. I think that would be a really fun experience to see what Jonathan can do with the Tau in this. After seeing all these villain songs, this one here, I think the Necron song. Let's see. I want to rate the villain song separate from the Space Marines and the Imperium and Man songs, just because they are very different. Like I said, all of the Imperium and Man songs have been very patriotic, very heroic, very like fanfare-y, whereas the rest of them, the villain songs, have all been like very ominous and very like destructive sounding, and I really appreciate that. So I want to like separate them because I don't think it's fair to compare. I would say of the villain songs so far, this is number 2. On first listen, this is number 2. Number 1 is his Nurgle song, Lord of Plague. It's gonna be hard to top that one. I'm gonna be honest. Like, something about that song it's disgusting, and it's fun, and it speaks to me, which is ironic as hell because I hate zombies. So there's something about that song that just really speaks to me. And then after that, I'd have to say it's probably Blood for the Blood God, and then the Tyranids. I think that's the order for the villain songs that I would put is Nurgle, Necron, what's his name? I forget what the blood god's name is, but blood for the blood god, and then Tyranids. I want to hear what he has to say about the Tau. I don't know any other factions that's going on in Warhammer. I would like to hear what he has to say about rogue traders. Like, not specifically about the rogue trader game itself, although that would be a major thing to draw inspiration from. But obviously, if they made an entire game about rogue traders, that must be a faction or some kind of like smuggler group or something. Or maybe they're just like independents. Like, but regardless of what they are, I would like to hear what Jonathan has to say about that, because I think that would be really cool. And also kind of tie into the rogue trader game a little bit. But there's so many things that still could be done about these. I would like to have him go into some of the lore of Warhammer, not just about singing about the factions, but singing about the lore, like what is it, Horus's Uprising, or like how the Emperor came to be, like stuff like that. I don't know if any of that stuff is I know the Horus's Uprising is detailed in like the novels and stuff like that, but like I don't know if they detail much about like the early days of the Imperium, first encountering the aliens and stuff like that. I would love to hear songs that are derived from that kind of stuff, that are very like less thematic and more story driven, because I really enjoy these songs, but I see some potential for some really in-depth like digging for the lore in Warhammer in what Jonathan Young can do. I think it would be really cool if he could do something like that, like a metal ballad or something like that about some of the lore of Warhammer. But that's it for me. I'm gonna wrap this up. This was an amazing experience. I really enjoyed this song. I can't wait to put it on my Spotify playlists. Thank you for joining me. I am Arkafa12, and I will see you in the next video.